So today we're going to be talking about goldmine areas. What is a goldmine area? Does it exist? And why is it super important to you? But first, I'm Susannah. Lovely to meet you, Susannah Cole. I run this YouTube channel and I also have a fantastic website that I've taken a long time just to kind of get everything ready for you, called thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk. So you want to hop on over there. There's loads of immediately downloadable education, checklists, packs, the whole thing for you to build your confidence, to get you motivated, to make you feel that you can do this, because of course you can. So, goldmine area. It is a bane of mine. If this wasn't YouTube, I'd say some really rude words about it, because people talk about a goldmine area and I personally feel it's quite strongly a marketing term. And one of the things it does is it makes you feel like, well, I don't know what the goldmine area is, so there's some sort of secret. So, excuse me. So if there's some sort of secret, then let me in on the secret. But actually it's just really about figuring out where you are going to buy your property portfolio. And although I disparage the word goldmine area, the thinking about your location is really important. Why? Because you want your rent paid, you want capital growth, and you don't want to have a huge risk in times of recession. So those things impact either positively or negatively upon your wallet. So thinking about your location is super important. So let's get into it, shall we? So let's get into the immediate one. Cash, meaning rent coming in, and why it's important to think about your location in terms of how do I make sure the rent comes in. Because if you don't have cash, there's no profit, there's no paying the mortgage, there's going bust, you're out the game. So cash is super important. You have generally three types of tenants, don't you? Three segmentations, if you want to call it that. You've got DSS, or people on housing benefit, who are either partially or fully supported by housing benefit to pay their rent. You've got working professionals, who are generally paying the rent themselves from their salary. And then you've got students who, by and large, my students tend to pay the rent themselves, but there's a percentage, maybe 20% or so, where you can tell the money's coming directly from the parents. So again, that's back to working professionals, even though the people sat in your property are actually students. So I'm going to cover working professionals primarily because this is the one where the economy is quite impactful. If your working professional tenants lose their job, which can happen through all sorts of different reasons, what do you want? You want them to find another job. You want them to find another job, and you want them to find another job really quickly, because it is their job that pays the rent. So for you, when you're thinking about a goldmine area, have a look at not just like, oh, it's a lovely house and a lovely street, or I can get it super cheap. It's also, what's the economy in this location? Is it only kind of one type of economy, in which case all eggs are in that basket, and if that particular industry fails, or is it an economy, if you look at it, if it was a pie, there were multiple slices in the pie? Are there lots of jobs? Are they struggling to get workers? Would your tenant be able to find another job like immediately, were they to lose their first job, because it is their job that pays the rent? So that's the first one. Look at the economy behind the physical situation of your property, okay? So the second thing about thinking about your goldmine area is, how does it behave generally in terms of capital growth? And as we've heard, the kind of general assertion is in between 7 and 10 years, property doubles in value. Fabulous. But that's not consistent right across the country. There are real kind of highs and lows across the country. So in the location where you're interested in buying property, what happened? Well, for example, I'm in Bristol, and in the last 15 years since I've had my portfolio, I've had houses triple in value, and I think I've had every single house double in value, and some have tripled in value. Now that's partly helped by the fact that I bought them seriously discounted in the first place, but nonetheless, 15 years, 3 times, woohoo! So, and in the last year when I'm filming, houses went up by 10%. So just think about what that could mean for you. If you only, and when I say the word only, I don't mean disparaging, but actually you'll get to £1 million property portfolio super quick. So if you only had a £1 million property portfolio, house prices went up by 10%, you'd have added £100,000, a 6-figure sum, to your property wealth by doing nothing. but just owning it. If you had a £10 million property portfolio, you've just made another £1,000,000. Okay, it's equity, not assets, but you've just made another £1,000,000 because of capital growth. So the important thing here, and of course we can't always predict the future, but by looking at historical behavior, what does your area, the area you're considering, or maybe you're trying 2 or 3 areas and you want to figure out which one's best, how did it behave in the last recession? What happened? I have a dear friend with the properties in Stoke, and it just went doof on the floor and took anything up to 10 years to recover. Whereas Bristol, it just kind of went up and froze for like 2 or 3 years, and then slowly started to increase in value and then doubled. So those are 2 very different pieces of economic behavior. So in your area, the one that you want to use as your kind of goldmine area, how did the properties behave in the last 2 or 3 recessions? Now, where'd you get that data? Yes, you can get it online, or you can pick up the phone and talk to super experienced estate agents who really know their stuff and love being in this industry. I would do both. Kind of the anecdotal, because they know their stuff and you get to know them, but also look online on kind of historical data, nationwide, Halifax, government statistics. What happened in your local area for capital growth? Because you want the area with the biggest capital growth, of course you do. And then the third part about Goldmine Area, and I think when you're starting out and you may be at this stage, all the excitement is about buying the deal, isn't it? Like, should I get this deal? Should I get another deal? Should we buy the deal? Okay. But the reality is you buy the deal once and you hold it for 25, 35, 40, it depends how old you are. If you're starting at 20, you're going to hold it for like 65 years. Woohoo, So the reality is you hold it for a lot longer than you actually spend buying the deal in the first place. But all the focus in the early days, and you may feel this right now, golly, how do I find a discounted deal, is on the buying. So when you are thinking about buying a property portfolio, it's not one, but you have got bigger plans than that, cluster. Wherever you choose your goldmine area, think about the economic reasons. Can people get jobs? Think about the capital gains. How high has it grown in the past? And also, how did it behave in a recession? So you're kind of mitigating your risk through past behavior analysis. But also, if a washing machine breaks down or a tenant's, the hinge on a window goes and I only want to have one great handyman. I want to have one great washing machine repairman. I want to have one great plumber, one great electrician, and I want them to be able to go from property to property to property within minutes. So my strong advice to you is cluster. Now, I personally cluster in my hometown. I'm here in Barcelona right now. This is my apartment in Barcelona. The sea's 9 minutes away, and I have a dear friend arriving this afternoon. So we're just going to hang out on the beach for a week. Yes! But in Bristol, almost all my properties are based within a kind of 9-minute drive time. A couple of them are 17 minutes, but they are so clustered, they're super easy to manage. So that's the kind of like, bring long-term thinking into short-term goldmine thinking, okay? So there you are. 3 things to think about. Number 1, can my tenants, if they're working professionals, get another job quickly? Well, that's all the economy. Number 2, what did property in my goldmine area, potential area, do in the last recession or the last couple of recessions? Did it freeze? Did it drop? And number 3, what about capital growth? What's the general trend in my area? And then number 4, cluster. You might choose 2 or 3 clusters, but cluster. So there you go. Super simple, lovely, easy tips for you, because I'm telling you, you can do this thing. So remember, it helps me out, and more importantly, it helps other people find this YouTube channel as well, and that's quite important. If you could like and subscribe will get you all the new videos, and I have got so many videos planned for you guys. I'm quite excited about it. And if you like it, just helps other people get wind of this channel, and that's really helpful to them. But importantly, hop onto my website. I have spent quite a long time building it for you guys. I've got fantastic downloads, some checklists, some packs, some academies. Occasionally we do flash sales, very occasionally. There are on-demand webinars, so you can get lessons on particular parts and property straight away. A really good, helpful website for you. But the important thing is, don't just watch this video and think, maybe. Watch this video and go, yeah, if she can do it, I definitely can do it. And good luck to you. Sourcing discounted deals, it is the basis of all property wealth. I have written a pack for you guys. You can download it right now. 45 million quid's worth of property, agreed sourcing price for 30 million quid. All that information in that pack.